here we are along the river on this snowy scene, January the 8th. We got about 6 inches here in the Indianapolis area 2 days ago. And the sun's getting a little lower along the river. Hope you can enjoy this Zen-ish kind of nature scene. So, in the few minutes that I have to speak here, let's talk about something very current. In today's news, there's this major fire around Los Angeles, California. If you're seeing this video, it's going to be, the most of the fire will be over. In fact, probably be over. But anyways, it's going on now, and it's so wild. The winds are crazy. Yeah, it's so weird to see that they have so little control over taking care of the fire. And in Christ, all kinds of homes are burning down. Fortunately, people aren't dying, and they're putting that out. They've had 2 deaths, civilian deaths. Nothing, 0 is the number, but the amount of home damage, building damage, financial loss, in the midst of all the personal belongings stuff, which itself is this huge story. I mean, it's a huge catastrophe. So as I'm watching it, as I'm going to talk about this video today, here's the direction I'm going to go. It's interesting to see how much out of control the city is, the people, its citizens. Normally, we have so much technology and stuff that we're in control of so much. And one more in the city where people are, trying to get the heck out of town. They abandon their cars in the roads. People are stuck. I mean, this is the catastrophe of living in a huge city when you need to evacuate suddenly. So I go back to, okay, there's 4 fires, but 1 or 2 are the ones that I'm almost speaking more about. So we don't know how they started, but because they have dry conditions in California, because it's very windy, there's a major risk that if there's a fire, let's say somebody started this intentionally. Let's say it was a terrorist. I mean, how easy is that to wait for conditions when it's windy in a heavily populated, in any area, where it's dry preferably, and to start some fires? Now you got this huge problem. Now, if they're terrorists, they could have other things planned in addition, and this doesn't take many people. So, I'm not trying to go too crazy, but our world is not as, there's things that can go wrong in our world more than we realize. And so, we think that everything's okay and that things aren't going to change. And, we live in a pretty strong country, and usually we're able to take care of business, and its citizens live a pretty stable life. But in this case, you combine this, again, dry conditions, heavy winds, they see it's coming. If somebody purposely started this fire, now the whole society is not under very good control. So all kinds of things could go on. So I'm going to stop for just a moment. There's another nice person walking by with their dog, taking advantage of this wonderful weather. I'm the one who's got a microphone going and standing out, so not necessarily bad me, but I'm the one interrupting their tranquility. Let's talk about, there's always room for terrorists to be inside our country and to do bad stuff. Now with the southern border, what we've had for the last couple of years, there's a bunch more, whether it's from China, whether it's from the Middle East, wherever, there's a clear chance and a probability that we've had some added influx of people who are very much against the United States, and to varying degrees are willing, if not perhaps plotting, to create lots of havoc. It's not that hard to create some havoc. So, as the fire and the policemen are trying to do their best, people are potentially stuck on their own in different scenarios. Our societies can go weird and become very uncontrolled and chaotic, with perhaps a loss of control and safety to its citizens. Part of where I'm going here And this is a topic that it'll be great at eliciting egoic responses from people on either side of this issue. But I think of guns being owned by citizens. Our governments will generally, of course, try and do good. Governments can go off on their own. In the last 4 to 8 years, we've seen, with COVID, I recently read an excellent article talking about the FBI and the things, they have some people who have retired or come out and exposed and said a variety of things. And part of where I'm going is the FBI were purposely finding people who were mentally ill to some degree, who were very borderline, and they were propping them up by becoming friends and encourage them to create some level of terrorism. And then right before they'd arrest them, and they'd put it in the news that we found this and we broke this up. And this is the same time when our Department of Justice, the White House, and when some of these institutions were saying that white supremacy were the biggest threat we had in our country for terrorism and for threatening our democracy. So this was pushed fairly strong. I mean, it was talked about a fair amount from Biden, from Wray, the FBI director, and through numerous people. And there's good articles out there that cite the statistics with much accuracy and carefulness. And this has not been shown to be the case. Religious people, the Catholic Church, the FBI, it was exposed that there was a memo and they were looking at Catholics as being possible terrorists for attacking our country. And now, by the way, in most recent times, last year or two is what I'll say, I forget the exact timing, is more and more the MAGA people are being cited as themselves being a threat to terrorism and democracy. I was there on January 6th. I was not at the Capitol. I was at where the talks were given. Just people trying to do the right thing. Such challenges for people, wars, governments, capitalism versus communism, Marxism, socialism. I guess you could say God bless America. People finding their way. I did not walk to the Capitol afterwards. I guess I'm glad I didn't. So where am I going with that? Well, the left are playing that out as far as they can to incriminate, to create the narrative that Trump supporters and white supremacy are, groups of people who are very dangerous and, are threats to democracy and could be terrorists, and we're looking to overthrow the country and, maybe to do more violence. I will say a couple things here. I sort of explored this some. I haven't explored it much in the last year or so, year and a half, although I still watch the news about it. But, there's a lot that happened that day. The question of FBI individuals, whether they're agents or just working for the FBI, encouraged what happened is definitely possible, perhaps probable. And there's videos out there, like there's a guy up on a megaphone, up on a stand that's close to the Capitol, who's saying we're going to go into the Capitol, we're going this way. There was the gentleman, you see I don't have the names right now with me, but who was the day before and the day of is on much film, who originally after the January 6th riot was listed one of the top 20 by the FBI, and then they took him off the list, and they've never arrested him. They apparently talked to him, but he's never been arrested. And from what he was doing, he was definitely inciting what occurred. The police, numerous experts that I've seen, said their behavior of shooting pellets and whatever other things they were shooting and putting into the groups of people who were gathering in the protest, that they shot them at a point in time and in ways and in the crowd that was definitely inappropriate, that would only understandably incite the people more. So I realize, half the country, when I hear this part of the conversation, will sort of say, what the fuck? Like, well, what conspiracy and how far right are you and whatever. I do lean right, conservative. That's just how I see the views, the policies of what's best for the country. There's been a lot that's occurred in the last 8 years in particular. You give me the Democratic Party from 30 years ago, and perhaps, I don't know if I'd be Democratic or not, but the wildness of what's going on in this country, the tearing down our institutions, the attacking our culture, the way Trump's been attacked in particular, DOJ, FBI, now the different court systems in different states around the country, it's pretty apparent that things have gone quite astray. So with all that said, I'm sort of mentioning that for citizens to be able to protect themselves to some degree on the issue of guns is very likely a good thing. Now, let's say you get an area where there's lots of unrest, like the scene in California. And now let's say for some, this may never happen, obviously, but in a year from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, now there's bad people almost going door to door, or people no longer have the security, and whatever group that hates them or wants to take them down or just wants their money, whatever they want, if no one has guns in their homes, they lose a lot of power. And the bad side in this description can take major advantage of it. And it could be the government, but in either facet, this country is founded on freedom, on smaller government versus bigger government, people's rights, the opportunity to make a living, free speech, free religion. And so a lot of these things go together in what the United States offers. It's why it's been, such a desired country to come to and try and live in as well. So just, a variety of stuff there. But it relates to the California fire. Hopefully the winds die down real soon. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it rained and it got quiet? It'd be like, an act of God, right? It's not really in the predictions, the weather predictions. We sure hope that the people in California do well. A huge amount of damage and strife, difficulty. So we need to be aware though. And with terrorism, we had the New Orleans incident recently, who was a homegrown, happened to be a Muslim person who was radicalized, apparently through the internet some. But this is a real issue. Again, with our southern border and what's happened with so many unknown people, and the opportunity for so many people in countries who hate the United States and want to take it down, a huge opportunity for them to infiltrate in bad people, create cells, as is often talking about in the world of terrorism. And there, it could be a lot of really bad shit. So that's what we have. Trump's coming in, lots of change coming. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but I just wanted to sort of bring up some current news. You guys take care. Hope my little travel on politics, on the nature of citizens with guns, and somewhat the talk of terrorism. I hope that's settled okay. I appreciate you. Have a great day, and thanks for coming and stopping by. Take care. Until next time, bye now.